Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast. And we've got 3 more games here on Wednesday in the NBA playoffs. And we are taking a look at the first one here, Boston and Orlando. Going to be looking at this game without Jason Tatum, most likely still listed as doubtful. So we're going to dive into the best bets and player props we have from this one. Also going to have an episode about the other 2 playoff games. We're bringing all that stuff to you each and every weekday now moving forward. So make sure you are subscribed to that channel. Don't miss any of the action we've got moving forward. Nate, the Boston man, let's go ahead and jump right into your first look for the hometown team.
Yeah, something we discussed the other day. I'm going to put the money where the mouth is, though. I'd say Franz and Paolo both get 20 and the Celtics win. I actually went Paolo 25, Franz 18. That might not be available everywhere. A little more worried about Franz getting his buckets since his perimeter shot is kind of broken, but I think he can still get 20 because literally nobody else can score for this team. As we know, it's been thrown out there everywhere. Jonathan Isaac, third on the team with 7 points. That's just absolutely pathetic in terms of the supporting cast. And KCP was like running his mouth off after injuring Tatum. So I don't think he's necessarily going to have a great time out there with those hounds on him defensively. The core line for Franz is 21.5 though. So getting him 18 is not that crazy. I think Paolo does see more Drew Holiday, and Drew did a really good job on him, but I just trust the usage. I trust like the inevitable foul calls that will come his way when the Magic are probably down like 15. And it's just like, all right, we got to make something happen. And the refs like, we got to make this somewhat competitive. And yes, I am not at all concerned about the Celtics money line without Jason Tatum. I think they will be just fine. And that does help though. Both these guys, not see as one of their best large defenders on the perimeter, right? And JB not necessarily fully healthy. I mean, there's nothing to like truly indicate that from his game 1 performance, but they have a little bit of an easier path to these 2 big guys. And we've seen Paolo in the playoffs just make it happen with nobody around him. 35 a game now in his last 4 playoff games on 36% usage. Franz had 39% usage in game 1. So even though he was bricking a lot, that still gets you 23 points, right? And his usage rate rose to 31% when Suggs went down. He's getting 24 a game, and that's all despite 27% from 3. So again, yeah, it is about him getting into those mid-range areas. Boston tries to run you off the line, make you beat them like that, and I think Franz can do just enough here to get his 18 to 20.
Yeah, I had a similar look, but I honestly just left Franz out of it and took Paolo. I actually then, to get a little more juice, to play a similar look as you, I played him 30 plus with the Celtics money line, and that gets you up to about like plus 300, 350 if you wanted that as well. Obviously, 25 is a lot safer for Paolo, but he's going to have Horford on him now, right? Like I definitely see that switching. They had Drew on him last game. I think Drew goes to Franz, plays that above the break stuff. And then honestly, Paolo kind of handled Drew. Love Drew. But I said this too, like Drew's not 30. He's not 28 anymore, right? He's not guarding 1 through 5 the same way he was when he was probably squatting like 500 pounds or whatever. It's just a little bit different now, but he's still better guarding guys that want to drive to the rim as opposed to post him up with, 7 inches on him. But now we're just talking about Paolo being able to do what he does a little bit more in space, right? He had the option to sort of pull up or go to the bucket against Drew, and he chose pull up. He chose go to the bucket a lot, to his credit, and I still think he's going to have the ability to get some decent looks from deep now in this one. And then Franz, yeah, he's just going to continue to have a ton of usage, man. So like those are the only 2 guys I would even be looking at here for this squad. But on the other side of the ball, like I'm not going to overthink this. I'm going to take Jaylen Brown. I don't think you can get 21.5 anymore, but I would still take 22.5, and I would take an alt at like 25 plus for him in this game. There's a couple of conflicting things, but here's the overall synopsis. Like he's played 7 games without Tatum. He's over the points in 4 of 7, averaging 23 a game. The 4 games that he played at least 31 minutes, he's over in 3 of 4. He's got 27 points per game. All 3 unders were double-digit wins where they just blew the doors off the other team. Wasn't even within 10 points. One of them was 10 points. Everything else was closer to 20, 30 points. And as a result, right, like he wasn't doing as much. And one of those unders was also that one game where in Portland where Pritchard went for 43, White went for 40 or 41. So there wasn't really much room for Jaylen Brown at that point, as those 2 dudes were just hitting threes all the time. But he did go over in the one game that they played without Tatum against the Magic. And huge caveat, nobody was playing for the Magic. Like I think Trevelyan Queen was guarding Jaylen Brown for a lot of that game. So that's kind of what we were looking at in that one. But at the same time, I like to know that against a team that is, designed, the defense is still designed the same way with Paolo or Franz out there or not. And it was still an opportunity for Jaylen Brown to really not get double teamed and just keep going one-on-one. It's kind of why I like Paolo. Both these defenses really just, they lack double teams consistently because they don't want to give up spot up shooting. Well, that's why Paolo's got his one-on-one matchup. I think Jaylen Brown's going to have the same one-on-one matchup. And I do think this is going to be closer. Like, you got to be smelling blood here if you're the Magic. Like, you have the door just creaked. It didn't like open, but it sort of creaked like a couple inches there for you guys to try to push it open a little bit more without Tatum. So they are 8-2 without Tatum, but those 2 losses are to the Magic this season. So keep that in mind. I think it is going to stay pretty close, and that'll force JB to score a lot. But he's going to have the ball in his hands a ton so much. If you wanted to take assists at like 3.5, I wouldn't talk you off of that either.
Yeah, it looks like it is up to 22.5, but yeah, if it rains, it pours with Jaylen Brown, basically. So yeah, I mean, maybe you just ladder it up to 25 plus, be like, he's going to assert his will here. Definitely. It's kind of just a bet on his health, I think, to a degree. Like, yeah, if he is like physically ready to just kind of take on that elevated usage right now. But yeah, definitely they could run stuff through him. So I'm gonna take the Derek White under here and 10.5 rebounds and assists and leave the points out of it. I do see that there's been some buyback on this because his PRA bumped up 4 when Tatum was ruled as doubtful. And I just think that's a little too much. I mean, the scoring might go up. We have seen these outlier games where he dropped 41 against Portland, hit 1,000,000 threes along with Pritchard because Tatum was out. So now he averages 4 more a game without Tatum. I do think you could bundle the PRA here, though, and just trust Orlando a little bit more to close out on him, because he's not really as much of a willing driver as like Jaylen Brown, for example, or we don't see the same notable splits as we do from Porzingis or Brown or Pritchard, who you're going to get into when Jason Tatum is out. It's Derek White is very much a system guy. He is the ultimate role player. He will take what is given to him. And Orlando generally does a really good job of limiting what role players do and just limiting stats all over the place. I mean, they were their fewest assists per game in the league this year, particularly to guards, one of the top 5 limiting rebounds to guards. And White doesn't necessarily board a lot. His actually rebounds drop a little bit when Tatum is out. He in that game you mentioned against Orlando, one of them without Tatum, he goes for 17, 4 and 4 in 40 minutes. So like plenty of opportunity there. But I mean, it's getting some buyback here because he's under in 14 of the last 15 playoff games where he's not playing the Indiana Pacers with their elevated pace, and Magic play at like an 88 pace. Like Celtics are happy to wasn't it like 84 pace? These teams are happy to play in the 80s right now. So it's just not a lot of stats opportunities. He was otherwise against L teams other than Indy, 4.2 rebounds, 3.5 assists in the playoffs last year. So it just seems like a bit unwarranted to raise him this much because Tatum's out. It's not like that he's going to have a ton more of potential assists. He's going to be a cog in the machine,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing that I like the most is the under on the boards, as much as anything. I mean, I'm hoping that you can even get this up a little bit if the rebounds like spill over into 5.5, since there's such juiced odds for they're just juiced at the over there. So yeah, I would think that this is still going to be a good play throughout the day. I'm not sure how many people are going to be going under or over rather to give us an even better under necessarily, but I think we can either wait or just take some really nice juice here on the under as is at this number. So I see what you're seeing though. And the only thing that scares me is the dimes, but this is a good defense, obviously, to limit that stuff. He'll be either the primary ball handler on plays, or he'll be the second pass or the first pass, right? In which case he's still in a position to more so not necessarily facilitate, I would say. So I'm going to go with the final play here, looking at our boy Pusha P, as I call him sometimes, Peyton Pritchard, over 7.5 on the rebounds and the assist combo there. And I love tacking this when we get one of the big, let's call it either JB or JT, whenever one of those dudes, the 2 highest usage guys on the team, are out. Yes, Peyton is still good for points. I'm not really going to talk anybody off of I think 11.5. If you wanted to just do the full kit and caboodle with the PRA, great. But I love to attack these, especially the rebounds. He's at 9.9 RA per game without Tatum when he's playing with Brown and Derek White. Those are the two guys that I care about the most outside of Tatum in terms of usage, obviously. If you look at him on the season, though, without Tatum on court, just the minutes that he's played without Tatum, but with at least 2 or 3 of the other starters, he's looking still at 10 RA per 36. So he really gets involved. He's obviously scrappy dude. We know all of the sort of idioms for him, right? Real Wes Welker type. But the key here is the skill, man. He's still super skilled. He's still very good at boxing out. He's a psychopath. He said that he doesn't mind getting, the quote where he was talking about Tatum getting roughed up by KCP. He's like, I don't know, man, it's hoops. We've all been knocked down and we all get back up when we do it. That is just Peyton P to a T here. So I love the matchup. He's usually going to get, Corey, yes, not Curtis. Keep doing that. Not old goalie in the NHL. Corey Joseph here is going to be probably a lot more on Drew, and then when Peyton P usually comes in as one of the first subs for Drew and Al will probably be the first 2 guys off. You're going to see Peyton in there, with 4 to 6 minutes left in the first quarter. He's already just going to be involved, and when he's on court with those guys, Jaylen Brown, especially, and Derek White, he just doesn't have necessarily he's off ball a lot, but he's also then the defense is sort of pressuring the ball out of those guys' hands into the likes of a Peyton Pritchard. And now you've got one of the, I don't know where he would be on other teams, but there are NBA teams that he would start for the most recent 6th man of the year. So let's get it tonight, Peyton P.
Yeah, I mean, I'm shocked at first that you're leaving the points out of here, but a lot of his threes were on kind of semi-transition or broken plays, and Orlando lost him. He just don't miss when he gets those looks, though. So I mean, it might be worth adding that or going for the 3 threes. I see a plus 450 for him to have the most threes in the game again. If that's a possibility, if they're able to hold down Derek White, who's him and Porzingis, I think, are really, and Paolo are really the only other candidates to have a 4+3 night. Right. But yeah, Peyton is just lights out. Especially he seems to feed off that Garden crowd a little bit and hit those deep ones at home.
Yeah, he's nice at home for sure, or in Portland, his former home. So that is all the time we have for you in this one, though. Make sure to subscribe to that channel. We've got videos up for the other 2 games here on Wednesday night as well, and bringing all this stuff to you the rest of this NBA postseason. So until we see you next, happy betting.